please remember to leave a like, a comment, share the video about, and if you haven't already, subscribe. Thank you. Well, isn't this just fantastic? Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of Where Are They Now? Today we're going to be taking a look at the adventures of the Completionist for the year of 2024. This time last year, I made 3 videos talking about him because he did a goof, a big goof, such a big goof, it ruined him because over a number of years he wasn't donating money to charity that should have gone to charity, citing bureaucratic nonsense as a reason for it. But he's given it now, everyone, which means he's totally free of the consequences, which he wasn't. I'm going to play the one video I made in January of this year, link to 3 videos I've already done in December last year, if you want the full context. The one video I did this year concerned him returning to YouTube, before we then go through some of the content he has released in the year of 2024, and the audience's perspective of him, because they have opinions that are important here. The Completionist has made a triumphant return to content production and Twitch streaming. This has been received very well. More recent video, the Super Mario RPG 25 years later, a Nintendo classic, 6.6k upvotes, 22,000 downvotes. It is and can be argued to be a rather bold strategy to put your fingers in your ears and act like nothing has happened, especially when you fail to address, tackle and properly articulate a suitable counter-argument to anything levied against you by Muta and Carl, and others of course who raised other points. When you have been proven to be a disingenuous hack that failed to do what they said they did for 9+ years, to then try and come back and be a content producer again, not long after these controversies, whilst also having in the very video where you refute claims and fail to, stated you don't want to be that kind of creator anymore, a slave for views, you put out a video that shows you are absolutely oblivious to the concept of optics, and you certainly don't know how to feel the room. By the way, that's not to say the video you produced is trash. I would never be so rude as to say that, because that means I'd have to watch your video first. The downvotes can undoubtedly be because of a consequence that you are feeling as a creator, but it's equally possible that the video simply sucks. When it comes to timing, handling of situations, let's say properly addressing criticisms and concerns levied against you, along with audio from voice chats coming to light, it is very important one, as a creator, starts with what can be considered to be a clean slate. If you do not have a clean slate, there is always going to be a risk that you, the creator, are going to struggle to find a path forward. On YouTube, well, there is a level of mercy. It does not exist. Typically does not exist. The reason why is because many do not want to give YouTubers what is considered a second chance, especially when it involves hundreds of thousands of dollars not going to the places it's meant to go. The video has since garnered 173,000 views in 3 days. Fantastic news. In January that equates to roughly, and I know there's an ad on it because I have it here, about 0 pence. No, I'm kidding, it probably made a little bit of money. But based on running costs and admin, not enough to get by, so undoubtedly Gerard is going to have to go to alternative platforms to drum up that additional interest. In this, Twitch. Now, whereas this video on YouTube is still up, because rewatchability is key, and because Gerard is very happy to leave videos there and ignore the comments, because that can be done, when it comes to Twitch streams, no, because that's a very organic, very instant reaction, that's very hard to mod, if you have a sizable audience anyway. I mentioned these on purpose because Gerard had a very busy evening while making this triumphant return to the Twitch, and no, Gerard wasn't getting in on the newer meta of sexually suggestive implied nudity, although it might become a thing for Gerard in the future if Gerard doesn't learn his bloody lesson. Although I could be wrong, but I found that since covering Gerard for the first time in December, he has about as much honesty as I have a chance of ice skating with a pair of skates made out of KY jelly. As you can tell, I take this very seriously. I've already mentioned optics. Surely Gerard knew ahead of time this first stream back was not going to be an easy one. So understandably, they wouldn't want you to see what happened on that stream. I've had to get clips from other content creators because Gerard has deleted that stream. Josh Prime Unfiltered, go subscribe to them, has clips of it. Smash JT had covered this, go subscribe to them as well. Review Tech USA, a much larger channel, had also made a video on this, but as they have over 1 million subscribers, I'm not going to tell you to sub to them because they have loads. They have more than me. Get wrecked. No. Go sub to Smash JT and Josh Prime Unfiltered. I'll be using clips from Josh Prime because they're the most pertinent and relevant to what we're going to be discussing today. These clips alone should act as an adequate way of conveying just how deluded Gerard is, and also desperate to maintain the facade and control the narrative within the space of a live stream that he is very much in control of.
We feel better hanging out with us? I hope so too. There's been a lot happening in my life.
To be honest, yes, a lot has been in the online space, and no doubt there will be people in your real life who would hold you accountable perhaps, while the rest mollycoddle you. Don't forget here, you're the one that put out the poor explanation on Twitter, and many blindly agreed with everything you said because skepticism went out the goddamn window just so you could be made to look like you were being sincere. All because who wants confrontation? Everyone should want it when they want truth and clarity, something which you have failed to provide.
In a lot of catastrophic, miserable, unhappy ways. Just like meteors upon meteors of bad news and bad vibes.
Bad vibes is a strange thing to say. Bad news, obviously, because you have found out. You have found out to have lied, which has led to the accusation of charity fraud. It can be argued to be that. It really can. And I get when we're on stream, we like to try and put on a brave face, because at some point you'd have to come back to this anyway. Even though you've said you'd like to leave this all behind, you would have to come back to this to keep going, as it were, pay your bills. You're in a bit of a tricky spot. How long is an adequate amount of time for a creator who has committed what many believe to be charity fraud to the tune of hundreds of thousands of dollars, not going to where it was meant to go to 9+ years ago, supposed to be offline for, before they are allowed to come back and the court of public opinion welcomes them with arms wide open? Maybe I should have sung that like Creed. By the way, the acceptable amount of time, as far as I'm concerned, would have been contingent on one very important factor, but you screwed it up when you put out your first response. You were undone fully when Carl and Muta put out the call audio. That screwed you completely. So there is no realistic amount of time. Your best chance is to weather it until people get bored of you. But you're going to lose your audience anyway. You're going to lose more people as time goes by. Your reputation as a charity guy is in ruin. So what do you have left?
If you guys ever wonder what I look like after I get destroyed by the internet for anything, I just do this as best I can.
That is a cute dog, but I will point out, your dog is not a shield, something to hide behind because our attention is drawn to the cute doggo. And while it is also quite healthy to have a coping mechanism in times of hardship, when one brings the hardship on themselves, a mirror might be more beneficial. So you can actually have a good long look at the person who's responsible for this in the first place. You cited so many excuses, Gerard. So many. I feel like I was going to clap when I did that, said that. You know what I mean?
Hey, censored that thing about 23 months.
Welcome back to the crew.
No, I just mean like if something bad happens and I'm like feeling sad. I got a little yayo. She is a little sweetheart.
Now you might have noticed from what I've played so far, there's only really been positivity he's engaged with. I've already told you why that's the case. Because he and many others were going to bat to ensure that the chat was as heavily regulated as possible. Something not seen in the YouTube comments, because that's impossible to regulate. You have to have multiple arms, multiple devices to be able to do that. To be able to maintain an echo chamber to such a degree, reeks of desperation. And of course, people are going to support you regardless. You will have, like anyone really, a simp somewhere. Whether it is justifiable or fair, I don't really care. You make your bread to do whatever it is you have to do. Show everyone your coping mechanism. I find when I'm not feeling at my best, chocolate is great. And then going to the gym to burn it all off. Maybe you should do that. Can't use a bar of Galaxy or Dairy Milk or Ritter as a shield, but I could use a bar of Hershey's as a weapon, because it's certainly not edible.
Aren't you, Yayo? Challenge face, thank you for the 27 months. No, not the comments at all. No, like I said, there's just stuff happening behind the scenes that is just making me real bummed and sad right now.
Would I be right to assume that would be accountability? Because if people are holding you accountability in your real life, you need to take the L and the lumps that come with it.
I'm not ready to talk about it yet, but is this game like Fortnite? Yayo, are you in Fortnite? You gave me a little kiss. Give me a little kiss, Yayo.
Whereas ordinarily I would take the side of, given time, I truly believe everyone deserves another chance. You at the moment are an exception to that. I'm not of the belief that you deserve another chance yet, because you have to earn back the trust. But how are you ever going to earn back that trust? Truthfully, you cited some nonsense concerning charity status and tax reasons. You clearly made it a point to understand the system eventually, and you even claimed, allegedly, that you were going to do something before you were exposed, 2 years earlier, when you knew about it. You are an exception to my belief of another chance. What support you have, make the most of it, I guess. It will start to dwindle, and it will cost you even more. You'll never be able to host a fundraiser again for any charity work, which means you have, by extension, besmirched the very person that inspired you to do it in the first place. That, to me, is the biggest L and disrespectful thing you could ever do to someone you claim to love. And you should be well and truly ashamed of that. Your dog's adorable, you're not. Since publishing a video titled My Response that we covered in 2023, Gerard has uploaded a further 20 videos to his YouTube channel. As the years gone by, the views have diminished, and then fluctuated with a renaissance of sorts in viewership towards the end of the year. For a channel of over 1.4 million subscribers, you would think he would do a bit better, but since being outed as a fraud, it is unlikely he'll ever be able to regain those views, right? Although, when one does look at his content, you realise it is all over the place. Realistically, he's lost about 40% of his viewership, but he's still managed to keep some. On the screen now is the like to dislike for every single upload to the channel, and you might notice something about them. They're not really on his side, are they? They're not on his side because no one forgives. The internet does not forget, and the internet will not want to forget. When someone says they're going to do something good and they don't do it until near a decade later, chances are the internet will not give you a chance. Even if another 10 years pass and all you do in that time is raise money for charity, they're not going to forget the one bad deed you did. It's somewhat ironic, really, when you look at those in society who compete for world titles and they lose multiple times. Many forget the amount of times they lose, because if that person wins a world title, they'll remember that. But when it comes to this, people will only remember the negativity. And in his content, at no point does Gerard actually discuss any of it. That's what happens when you accidentally leave 20 tabs running when you get screenshots. The audio basically sounds like weak tea Borg, but very, very similar and formulaic, which with a rather remarkable level of consistency is exactly what Gerard has done throughout the year of 2024. He has kept his head down, even though he didn't want to continue, you always wanted to move away from it, and cracked on making content. His Twitter account is still, at time of recording, protected because why be held accountable by the oikery, and he hasn't used Twitch in years. As far as channel growth goes, For the entire year of 2024, he has been in the negative, in the sense that he has not grown by any subscribers at all. He has lost, on average, 10,000 every month. Viewership-wise, he went from 1.4 million in January to 288,000 in October. He has lost 1.2 million views for a channel that got millions of views at its peak, down to 10% of that total. Less, in fact, if you go back to his absolute peak of 3.2. He's lost 3 million views, essentially. Relying on rewatchability and essay-style formats to try and persist in weathering this storm. As a creator, this would not be sustainable viewership-wise and income-wise, because there's no version of it for him, with the channel of his size, where he can justify continuing, knowing he is rarely going to be given much of a chance to come back. Don't forget how poorly he handled this, where he tried to bargain with those that called him out, Muta and Carl. He tried to bargain with. He went through the 5 stages of grief. It was an impressive feat. Just to show you how different things are then, just after the response video, to more recently, I'm going to play a clip from each, and then I'm going to show you the comment section from each one, as I think that's a fantastic way of demonstrating how well received his content is. But also, you have to an extent, commend him. I know what you're thinking. No, we don't have to, Meg. No. Hear me out. It is my firm belief that Gerard is firmly of the opinion that through attrition, he can continue as a creator, ignore all the negativity, like the lolcows I cover, the end-of-year reviews, and just act as if nothing happened. This would include threatening Carl Jobst and Muto with a lawsuit for exposing him. Do you remember that? How'd that turn out? To the first video.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to another brand new episode of The Completionist. Today, we're covering Super Mario RPG, the remake, quality of life focused remake of a beloved Square Enix game from 1996. Hey everyone, and welcome back to another brand new episode of The Completionist, where we don't just beat the games, we complete them. Before we start today's video, I want to recognize that I know that I have lost a lot of your trust at home. And I want to spend as much time as it will take to rebuild and re-earn your trust. It's going to take time, but I'm willing to put in the commitment, and I hope you give me a chance. So with that said, thank you for being here, and thanks for watching. Everyone who knows me knows that Super Mario RPG is one of my favorite games of all time.
As you can see from the comments on this first upload, after his statement and then switch from almost genuine remorse and gratitude to just diving right in, which came across as unusual, the comments are resoundingly against him, calling him out for the brazen nature of him just coming back. It is unlikely he'll actually earn back the trust at this point. Skipping ahead to the more recent upload, although it is worth acknowledging, at this point, he was uploading once a week prior to the drama, now once a month, towards the end of the year, once every other month.
In 1979, Ridley Scott's Alien unleashed terror into cinemas. The movie created one of the most iconic movie monsters in history. Its blend of isolation, claustrophobic setting, and fear of the unknown made Alien one of the greatest horror films of all time. In 2014, Alien Isolation unleashed terror to the home console. They combined sci-fi and survival horror in a way that few games had done in the past.
Now, you might have noticed the energy is still there with the like to dislike. The comments, there are not as many, whereas before there were thousands, now there are hundreds, just under 1,000 in fact. Many of them not really defending, no, some questioning the lawsuit he recently lost that I couldn't find any information on, that was strange. Others pointing to creators that have vehemently defended the Completionist, called The Last Dragon or That Last Dragon. I have no idea who they are, and I have not seen any videos on someone defending, but there will undoubtedly be those that will defend, either because they are that genuinely stupid, or because they hold hate boners for the likes of Muta and Carl Jobst, or because they think, well, the money was donated, and that's like enough. It's not. Principles must be upheld. Integrity is key here. You cannot be somebody that gives to charity by withholding it for 9 years. Seriously. I'm somewhat surprised with that money just sat there. It wasn't accumulating interest, and the interest was being skimmed off the top. As the year of 2024 is winding down, on the face of it, it looks like the career of the Completionist is doing the same. Whether intentional, whether the announcement is impending, I have no idea. Tweets are protected, so I cannot see whether or not he has made the decision to retire as a full-time creator, although I can believe that is the case based on the social blade. I can believe that based on the fact that after a year of taking absolute negativity, with the sprinkling of positive comments about the game and the commentary hidden, but there, buried between the mountain of negativity, I can believe that this got to him, and it should. I fully believe in everyone's right to continue to make content. I do not share the same values as others when it comes to forgiveness. How one earns it is not up to me. It's not up to him either, for that matter. It's up to, well, the people. And the people have decided 1 year has passed, and you've still not earned it. Therefore, if you are going to continue, you must persist in riding this wave. Attrition might well be your only friend. If you do continue in 2025, best of luck.